Hi there, everybody. I'm Fred Thomas, and you are watching All Things Bike. And today we are speaking with Sebastian Logue and his father, Clyde Logue. Sebastian.
Good to see you.
Clyde.
Hey. Nice
Good to see you guys again, and welcome to the show. And thanks for coming down or up to be on the show. And you guys you're in your own category. And I'm going to start with you, Clyde. You are a cycling dad. Man, we got soccer moms, we got hockey dads. But you have created your own niche, and how you explain a little bit about how that got started, how you started.
Well, I've been cycling since I was a kid.
Oh, as well. Oh,
yeah, absolutely,
okay.
but
right.
never raced. And I built bikes, and I had a Clyde when I was a little kid. And,
oh, nice.
But I never got a chance to race because racing was pretty scarce up in Toronto, where I grew up.
Oh, right. Wow.
But then did a lot of mountain biking and road riding in college, but also didn't race. And then about, I don't know, what was 5 years ago, Sebastian did a few races.
Well,
right.
The Portsmouth Criterium.
Yeah.
Oh,
when I was very young.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, right. When the
But he won
6-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a few years ago, a local bike shop said, "Hey, have you ever thought about cyclocross? You're a big kid.
That's
You'd make
right.
a great cyclocrosser." And I thought, wow, that'll be fun because if I take me to cyclocross races, I'm going to get to race. And
yeah, right.
so it's a good excuse to get out of the house, and we had a great time. I've been doing a lot of mountain biking up until then. I've probably did about 10 years of like really solid, weekly mountain biking. So I felt pretty able to do cyclocross.
And then how old was Sebastian when you started taking him on these rides?
I did a few of those mountain bike rides when I was, I don't know, 13, 14, but I didn't start racing until I was like freshman year of high school, and I was almost 15 at that point. So that was when I started doing cyclocross, which was the first real effort I did at doing any kind of bike racing. So
And do you remember what the first cross race was?
Yeah, Grand Prix of Gloucester was my first cross. Yeah, in the 4-5 with 100
200 people. Okay,
yeah, a lot of people in the field. So, and I think I was maybe 20th to last. I was almost the last person in the 4-5 field.
I think I was pretty much the last person that year.
Well, you got lapped. He flatted. We were both racing.
Oh man, well it happens to everyone. Your first sort of race, you start and you have your formative experience. And but did you train at all, or did you practice?
No, I was playing soccer at the time. Actually, I was playing high school soccer, so I was completely untrained. I went to one weekly practice with the team, the shop team, and rode around a little bit. I think I had a broken wrist at that point from soccer. So it was suboptimal for sure, but I got hooked. So
I bet. And I mean, and so far the rest is history in a way. I mean, so this was how many years ago? 5 years ago, and did you say?
Wow, no, like three years ago.
So describe what's happened since then. The kind of races.
3 seasons ago.
Three seasons. So
what's happened since then?
Yeah, I got hooked, and then we did some more racing, but I was still playing soccer, so I wasn't training really. I was just going to these races and showing up and hoping that I could hang in there a little bit. And then we had one of our friends lives in Austin, which is where Nationals was that year. So we just thought, well, why not? We'll just go to Nationals. Doesn't cost, like the only cost would be to fly out there. So we showed up, and the only week in Austin that it was like effectively New England weather conditions was the week of Nationals, and it rained like 5 inches. Yeah.
In January or somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
But you were able to race, because I know they canceled a lot of races.
So I was on that Sunday that they canceled and moved, and we had to change our flight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is something beyond what soccer moms and hockey dads experience. The traveling. And the changes of things.
It was a pretty brutal race too, because it's on YouTube.
I got total. That is probably one of my all-time worst races ever. I just got
I know. Well, we all have them. We all have them. But you survived to race another day.
Yeah. Well, there was a huge pileup within seconds of the race starting. Yeah, Sebastians just barely got caught up in it.
Someone in the third row hit another person, and it was like one of the Tour de France pileups. It was just. Everyone behind them was down, or like delayed at least. So
I know. Well, I mean, but you're doing. I mean, that kind of pileup is cyclocross. You're going to hit grass usually.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
And from a cycling dad perspective, when you're doing road races, I mean, do you ever get a sort of a twinge of like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten my son into?
Well, I had never been in a road race actually up until this year. I went to Lime Rock. And it was right before Sebastian upgraded to Cat 3, so I figured I might have one more last time to actually be in the same race as Sebastian.
Yeah, we were in the same race.
So we're in the same 4-5 Criterium at Lime Rock. And I was going down this hill, the back hill at 40 plus miles an hour with all these people. There's like 100 people in this race, 120 people.
But it's a racetrack, right?
It's a racetrack. Yeah. And I was thinking, boy, I hope I don't hit the dirt here, because as 4-5 is, it was a little sketchy, people moving around. That we averaged out at like over 24 miles an hour for 18 miles. But I hung in there. I was even in the front for a little while.
And you had a safe race, and I mean.
I survived. There were a couple pileups at the finish.
Yeah, there was some crashing at the
Sebastian
finish.
won it.
Really?
So I got
I did.
I was at the back of the pack. He was at the front of the pack. So
there
it was pretty fun.
How does the relationship now function? I mean, you come back, you wake up early in the morning and you drive to some race, and you come back. I mean, are you talking bikes the whole time?
Or we camp there?
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot of bikes. But yeah, we've got our Sprinter van with the camping setup.
Oh my gosh! So there's camping involved here too.
So yes, we'll usually. I mean, nowadays we drive there the night before, and then we'll camp somewhere near the venue or at the venue, depending. And then we usually wake up, and then for cyclocross, he'll race in the morning, and then I'll race after him later in the day at some point.
So. And are you handing off feeds to each other?
I'm usually a mechanic.
Yeah, he'll be in the pit for me, hand me like a pit bike or something.
I remember at Nationals in Hartford, it was an early start, and you were still in bed, and we had breakfast downstairs. Have you gotten better at getting out of bed really early hours?
I wake up very early a lot of the time for school, and so I relish the opportunities to sleep in. I try to sleep in as much as I can, but that was definitely an early morning wake up. My start was at 9:30, I think.
It was cold too. I mean, are there ever
snowy and cold?
That's
really
right.
Bad.
I mean, it made Austin look like a picnic.
Probably. It was much better managed this year than it was in Austin, but it was. I mean, it wasn't quite as challenging. I think the riding conditions were equally challenging, but you didn't have that added challenge of having to pit every half lap, which was
because there was no mud, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the mud in Austin was very clay. I mean, Sebastian skipped a half pit.
I skipped one pit and
ripped the derailleur right off, like within seconds of passing the.
It was like
wow.
You had to pit every half lap.
With cyclocross, I mean, that whole dynamic shapes the whole race.
There was no. It was completely.
Have there ever been a time where you look at a race, you choose a race, and you're getting ready for it, but then Clyde, your father, will say, look, it's not worth it. You're just going to get dropped, or it's too dangerous, or do you have those kinds of strategic discussions?
Yes, but usually around like drive time. So like this year, we were going to go to a crit in New Jersey, and it was. It's 4.5 hour drive. We bailed and we went to the Bear Brook mountain bike race instead,
which was fun.
Exactly.
Fun.
Yeah. So
Bear Brook is a fantastic.
You gotta cut it loose sometimes.
Yeah, but that's just fantastic that you're able to have that sort of very mature. I mean, is he more mature now, Clyde? You think, since he started racing his bike?
Very mature kid.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17?
Yeah.
I thought you were at least 19.
No.
So you're a junior,
I'm
right?
Pretty tall, but yeah.
When do you get out of the juniors and when you hit 20?
I'm out of the 17 to 18 juniors, and I'm into under 23 next year for
cyclocross
and road next year.
But this is his last season of road.
Yeah, in the junior field.
Right, and you're going to continue to do road, do you think, or is it increasingly going to be just cyclocross?
I'm definitely going to focus on cyclocross. I really like the balance between, you've got the necessity for power that you have on the road, but there's a very subtle technicality to it that makes it a little more interesting. But it's still not like full on mountain biking where you're hitting rock gardens and stuff. Yeah, but it's all about very fine touch, which I really like. So I'm gonna continue to focus on that. But I think in the off season I'll do some road racing. I haven't done a lot of mountain bike racing this year. I did more last year, but it's not as good training as road. So well, I mean, it sounds like you've got a good sort of palette of disciplines to choose from. But I would think that mountain biking, in addition to road racing and cyclocross, you either you're going to run out of time or you're just.
That was one of our hardest decisions, I think, last year was making a choice. So he did a little road, he did a little mountain biking.
Yeah, but
this year we focused on road.
Didn't really do either one well.
Right.
So the hope this season was to pick one and then do it well instead of trying to do both at the same time.
Right, so. and just sort of narrow the focus. And
exactly.
Wow. Well,
so Sebastian's going to that talent ID camp coming up.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that. I was going to ask you what's on the horizon.
So next week there's a talent ID camp at UMass Amherst, and the coach is selecting a team for the Tour of Ireland, so it'll be the Team USA East team for Tour of Ireland.
Tour of Ireland.
Yeah, so the Junior Tour of Ireland, it's just junior racers. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully.
And what do you have to? You don't really have to win anything. You just have to show what all your abilities are.
There's some power testing, VO2 testing. Really? And then just some kind of group activities, but fingers crossed.
I'm sure
do well.
I'm sure you'll do fine. Have you been practicing?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So if you've been practicing, you're going to be fine, and you just go in there and show what you've got. And I think that's going to be great. I think that's we've got a great idea of what your relationship now is like, and I think it's fantastic. And I think you're one of a kind.
Thanks.
Hockey dads and soccer moms should be jealous. Thanks so much for coming down.
Absolutely.
And we will talk to you soon again. All right, everybody, that's all we've got time for. That was Sebastian Logue and his father, Clyde Logue. You can learn more about Sebastian on his Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you again soon.
All Things Bike with Fred Thomas is brought to you by Zentis. Performance carbon wheels handmade in Austria for road and off-road riding. Zentis, next generation wheels. And Frame and Wheel eBay bike selling services. Time, space, cash. Pick 3. And AD Bikes, the modern face of Austro-Daimler cycling and the bike company of the future.